And welcome back. Episode 2. I'm Tay.
I'm Sin. We're back again.
And we're here with your long distance survival guide. Episode 2, the meetup.
Sponsored by.
Gratitude creates magic. Sin has that lovely black hoodie on. Perfect for the cold weather there in Australia right now.
Exactly.
Coming up. Not so much for the hot weather here down south in America. But you can't get your Gratitude Creates Magic ball caps on Etsy. Be grateful and be golden and grateful at Etsy store. And also we'll include the links. So please support the mission, the vision, and us linking up. Because this shit's expensive nowadays.
Also, too, Kindred Rejuvenation, if you'd like to go to Instagram, where you can get your Reiki, sound healing, and guided meditation sessions. I've just launched my first day retreat here in Sydney, so in Australia, so that'll be awesome, coming up in May. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram, and I can do sessions via Zoom or over the phone.
International. Reiki. And let me tell you, the Reiki works.
It does.
At least Cindy's Reiki works. I can't speak for other people.
Awesome. Like so episode 2, right? So what are we going to do? It's about the meetup.
Yeah, episode 2 about the meetup. So yeah, we met up. Let's see. I've been to Australia before, so I was wanting to come to Australia again. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to go to Sydney the first time I went. I was on the actual northwest coast of Australia when I went out there. But I definitely love Australia. I've always felt a kindred connection to it. So Cindy being there, just it started to make it all make sense for me at some point of why I always had this connection to Sydney. Don't think that if I had gotten an opportunity to go to Sydney in 2001 when I was in Australia, that I would have been able to sweep her off her feet and take her back to America like King Kong per se, and sling her over my shoulder. Wasn't really a possibility at that point, so didn't miss out on anything by not making it to Sydney at that particular time.
What year was it? Did you say?
That was 2001. When I was in the Navy. We showed up to Darwin, Australia, 2001, September 9th. Hung out in Australia. Ironically, Australian women really, really take a liking to American men for some reason. Y'all just like us. In uniform. Well, there was 3 people on the pier that were protesting American ships being in Australia.
There's always going to be that.
They said, "Go home, Yankees."
Yeah, we always have them here. We have, like, a friend of mine works for a company that does a lot of work with defense, and every time they have a meetup, she's had like buckets of paint thrown at her because of blood on her hands, because she sells like metal to build the submarines and stuff like that. So
oh wow,
yeah, it's always intense. Yeah, there's always going to be some
American haters. Yeah. So that we had that was interesting. Australia is a beautiful, beautiful land, beautiful, good people. I felt like I was at home again. They had Jerry Springer on, getting to find American television and adopting the culture.
Yeah, we always have. But no, Australians are known to be very laid back. You know, we've got this saying of no worries. Everything's just, no worries. It'll be fine. No worries. Yeah. So quite laid back in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. So that was my time going. I didn't like I said, I didn't get a chance to go to Sydney, but there were guys that were on the ship that when they went to Sydney, they didn't come back to the ship.
Understandable.
And then came back to the States 6 months later. So they like Sydney.
Missed the boat.
They missed the boat and didn't want to go back. And clearly, whoever they were with didn't want them to make the boat either.
I really do love Sydney. It's a beautiful city. It's and I never get tired of it. So every time I walk when I'm in the middle of the harbour, out in the city where the Harbour Bridge, Opera House, and the whole city is there, it's almost like I see it for the first time every time I get there. So It's beautiful. It never gets old.
Yeah, it's immense. It's like it's definitely, you're looking at Sydney when you see that Sydney Opera House, because it's like one of the seven wonders of the world.
So,
Definitely. Yeah. Let's see. So, all right. So, yeah. So the topic of today is, how we met, and so we started. We were, again. So if you remember from episode one, if you haven't watched, it, you got to go back and watch it. See how we met, where we met, what our mindset was when we met, and then so we, started just being a part of each other's every day. And I think I know when you're developing a long distance relationship, and you really want to create a bond, when you want to create trust, obviously, because that's all you have, is connecting, and knowing, and not so much reporting back to the person out of fear of like, what did you do, where are you coming from, what's going
mm,
on, or why didn't you answer, none of that, because you might as well wrap a bow around it, and send it off point voyage, if that's this mindset of anybody involved. But
right.
more of a, like, a want to be included, wanted to be inclusive, wish you were here type mindset of, sending the pictures, sending the videos, we're giving the rundown of the day. Hey, you're a part of this, even though, and almost to the point I would feel so connected with her that I would almost be expecting her to walk into the house at the end of the day, or I would see her at the end of the day, because
Mm.
we were just so accountable to making sure, giving the other person insight into our everyday. What do you think, Sin?
Yeah, I used to. That's for me. I'm a very visual person, and everywhere I was going, and we were talking, and like you just said, I would say, oh, I'd love him to see this, or I wish he was here to see this. And so I just would just video record, or leave you a photo, or send you a photo everywhere I went. My walks in my lunch break I remember that I was sending you a lot of videos with me walking in my lunch break. If I went out on the weekend, I would send you videos of where I was, just to keep you kind of like knowing what's going on in my life. I really wanted you to know that, this is me, this is what I do, this is how I live. It's not so much, because when you're talking on the phone, you can say anything. I could have said anything. I could have painted this picture of, this is my life, and it could have been like nothing like it. But I would video record from inside my car on my way to work, before I left the house, things. And it was just really bringing you into my life. And you did the same thing, when you would be working, you'd be like sending me videos of a late night job that you were at, and trips to the grocery store and things like that was on the regular, because you like going to the grocery store a lot. So
I like to eat.
you like to go multiple times a day. But it just became really nice, and we started talking mid-December. So mid-December, and then we had, I remember me preparing to host my first Christmas at my house, which was like an ordeal for me. That I was really stressed out, and it was like late at night, and the time difference, you were awake, and so I was bringing you into things like, preparing for Christmas, and sending
I
you
remember,
photos.
I remember seeing your face the day that you're getting all set up. And Cindy is like the consummate host. She's the the host that doesn't stop, the host with the most. I mean, she had 60 people at her house.
No, I
And
don't think it was that much. Was it that much? No, it
you
couldn't have
said
been
I
that
had
much.
60 people coming to my house for Thanksgiving.
No,
Oh, this was a
60.
different event. That was a different
Yeah,
event.
that was a different
Yeah,
one.
about 30 people for
Mhm.
Christmas.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
remember you saying I got to get ready for all these people. And I remember looking at the video, like we've been talking for like every day at this point. So, when you talk to someone every day, you can really see
Hmm.
the subtle changes in their behavior, or even drastic. And she looked like she was a scared mouse in a rat trash. Her eyes were darting around. Her anxiety level was high. I was like, oh, I've never seen her like this. I was like, but that's the awesome thing, is like, when you see these videos every day, you learn a person, you really get to understand who you're dealing with. And so we start really having a bond because of these videos, because of all that. I
Mm.
think we really drew a connection with each other, and became a part of each other's life without actually being in each other's life physically. So I think and it helped me, and it gave me indication of how well we were connecting. And obviously, by how important it was to have be a part of each other's day to day. You know, and I remember we get to a point. I get to a point where I know when you're at work just by subtle sounds and subtle changes in inflections in your voice. I'm
I
like,
love
okay,
that.
work.
I love that. It's so funny. The minute I pull the handbrake up, it's like, and you're like, you've arrived, and I'm like, yep, I'm here. Gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was great. So yeah, so we did that. We were getting to know each other. We were talking every day. At the time, we were 16 hours difference because daylight savings was keeping us 16 hours apart, time wise. And so we were talking in my morning and in your morning, basically twice a day.
Right.
Videos in between, messages in between.
Yeah, it was either late night for one of us or early morning, and now it's kind of more evening and morning situation. So it's a little, I guess, easier. You know, there's obviously like a sleep window that we each have. So definitely. So yeah, we were trying to decide of like, I was like, I'm gonna come to Australia again because I love Australia. Now I'm gonna get a rush passport and I'm coming out there, and then you're like, well, I won't be there till August. And I go, there's no way we can wait till August to meet. That's just like not cool, you know? And I think there's always been a level of like, at least I know for me, a level of consideration of like, hey, look, we live in different places. Like you're an adult woman, you're living your life. Like people are going to approach you. Like I'm realistic. Like I didn't want to set myself up for any sort of like letdown or failure or you know, pipe dream, you know? And so, but we'll get to more into that after we met. And so how do we meet? How do we get to meet? So we were going back and forth like, oh, Fiji. And then we looked at Fiji and we're like, yeah, flights into Fiji aren't that common or not as so simple as just flying into LAX. And
for you, because for us, it's quite easy. Fiji is really like, it's very available for Sydney.
And see, I have my flight. I fly Delta. I would have had to fly to Korea, then I would have to fly from Korea to Fiji. There's no direct flight from the States to Fiji, or I would have to fly to Australia, then back out to Fiji. And it's like I didn't want to see Fiji that bad.
And then the other possibility was Hawaii. We discussed Hawaii because it was basically halfway from here and from where you are as well.
Hawaii, yeah, Hawaii. Hawaii is probably, if we had to like say, okay, we're going to meet in the middle every time, then Hawaii is probably
Hawaii.
Yeah. Exactly. Literally, it's the perfect time wise. It lands like 9 minutes within 9 hours and a half to 10 hours. In either one of us have to travel.
And Sydney, it's 10 hours. Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Dead in the middle. Yep, dead in the middle.
Cuts out a 21-hour flight to the States.
21-hour, yep.
The East Coast.
To the East Coast, yep. It's a serious flight to get to America.
So we were talking about that. We were throwing that up in the air and we're like, okay, cool. Because I love to travel. And that's what got us talking in the first place. If you go back to the episode, it was about Italy. So travel for me is one of those things where I just want to see the whole world. I want to see every country that I can get to. I'm fascinated about culture. I'm fascinated about the way people live. So I was wanting to meet you. I didn't matter where it was. I was open to get to wherever as long as it was reasonable. And then all of a sudden I got an opportunity to be able to travel for 5 days to Chicago.
And you got a work bonus. You got a work bonus you weren't expecting, a bonus.
A bonus. And then I didn't have leave, and my boss said, yeah, I'll give you the leave. It's fine. Just go. And so I said to you, I'm going to go. I'm going to book the tickets. I'm going to do it. It was so nerve-wracking. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? It was crazy.
But you know, the buffer that you had this was an event that was put on by a group of people from Clubhouse that we both mutually knew. So having that, I won't even say a buffer, like we needed a safety. They weren't safety, but it was a scapegoat to like kind of veer off into that. And that's a double-edged sword, right? Because when you meet up with the person, so you know, for people, long distance people listening, and you're planning your first meetup, it's like, it's nice to have that buffer or that friend that might come with you.
Yeah.
But then if you hit it off and you want to, what's that?
Just in case.
Yeah,
just
the
in
just
case.
in case shit. Yeah, just in case shit. You know, you want to have that. However, that just in case shit becomes a handicap or a hindrance, or it
Yeah.
gets in the way, because it's somewhat of an obligation that you kind of kept there as an escape route, but then you don't want to escape and you want to stay in it with the person. So
Mhm.
then it kind of becomes just like a nuisance. And so yeah, you know, we spent a lot of time together. The first 2 days were amazing, and then the event started, and then kind of from there it became this like we could only hang out at night, really, the way we
But
wanted to.
why don't we talk about first? Well, with me, when I actually got to the airport, I was like, for me, I just want to put it out there. I was so nervous. Like, I was like, I know, and you were saying to me, I'm going to meet you straight off the plane, and I'm like, I'm straight off a 21-hour flight. What are you, crazy? You let me just get somewhere where I can at least put a brush through my hair. And you're like, no, I'm going to be waiting right at the gate. And then it didn't turn out that way. I mean, it was like a...
Chicago O'Hare, you guys suck as far as your gates and inter-travel in between gates. Fix
and
it.
accommodating people.
Totally unaccommodating. Atlanta Airport, one of the best airports in America, if not the country. It was one of the top 3 biggest airports, and we can travel within the gates. We have all these different restaurants. We have trains that'll take you there.
I don't know yet.
And polite people. Not Chicago, though. Chicago is, do you have a reason to go to that gate? No, I didn't. You know what I mean? I hadn't been in the Chicago O'Hare Airport since in the 2000s when I joined the military.
Mm-hmm.
No, I take that back. I've been to Chicago since then. But I flew in. It was so brief. I may have even have driven in. We may have even have driven in to Chicago at that point, that particular event. But yeah, Chicago O'Hare Airport literally squelched all my romantic, fresh off the plane, here's your roses or whatever the fuck I can find in the name to give you. You know what I mean? And
where are you? Where are you?
How do I get to this gate? I don't know. And then we had to leave security, which that should have been noted.
I had to pick up my luggage. I had to go through customs.
Yeah, she had a lot to go through. I couldn't just go meet her fresh off the flight.
It's like, where are you? And I said, I'm here. And you're like, I'm at Terminal 5. You were at 5. I was at 1.
Different levels, different shit going on. Like, it was so confusing.
And I said to you, I had asked someone, and they said, oh, you got to catch a train to the rail to 5. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not going to be that easy. And we both landed at the same time, though. We both literally landed basically at the same time.
Yeah, we did. My flight was supposed to be, I think, earlier. So because I wanted to be there a little bit earlier so that I had the time to get to your gate and to be there. And that all got just blown, Yeah, but
we made it. We worked it out, and then we made it. That was awesome. I was like, it was really good. I just couldn't believe I was standing in front of you going, oh my gosh. I was like, we gave each other a big hug and a kiss. Yeah. And then it was like amazing. It was great.
It's like, I think there was no discomfort. I was totally comfortable. I felt like I've been knowing you. I've been spending time with you. And this was just a natural progression, or not even a progression, but just it was what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And we got our car, I was very great with.
We landed on, I landed on Valentine's Day. That was another thing.
We met on Valentine's Day.
We did.
We met for the first time Valentine's Day 2024 on the 14th, 14/24. So a lot of 2 4s in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm glad you remembered that. Yeah, it was Valentine's Day. Oh, and I even ordered a gift, which was delayed. So everything we planned, God laughs, right? So we were just at the mercy of like the airport where the jewelry people didn't get me my jewelry in time. It was like totally awesome.
But you know what the good thing is that we didn't get hung up on any of that, which is, what's the point? Like, and I think that's a lot of things that another thing we have in common is that we go, oh, that sucks. And then we just get on with it because there's no point in wasting time on things like that. which we
Yeah,
both
like
agree.
we had no attachment to any of that stuff. Even the rental car company, thank God I had two credit cards. She didn't think that understand. I guess in Australia they don't use credit cards the same way we do in
As
America, like
much, no, yeah.
as much. They're our life's blood, right? So like luckily I had two because one of my credit cards says business cash because of the reward system. So they automatically thought because it said cash that it was a debit card. So they almost didn't. I didn't even want to debate it with the guy. I just pulled out my other card. But luckily we instantly got the card because the guy before us got denied. And
Mm-hmm.
that would have been more disruptive to any of the probably anything because then we had to catch this random bus. And if you know anything about Chicago and the culture
Which
there, the gang
we
culture,
had to, we
they
had to
call
run
it
across the
field.
field. Remember, run across the field.
Yeah, the guy goes, "You got to go through the field," and I was like, "Wait,
Where
I
are we
don't want to go."
going?
And he knew what I thought too when he said it, like the killing fields, like the what, like the death field, like the. We don't want to go across any
We're gonna
field.
track through a field. I'm thinking, where are we walking to? There's gonna be like, I'm picturing like a football field size thing that we've got to go across, and I've got luggage to tow, and that was
Right.
fun.
Absolutely.
And we
not.
get out there, and it was like a little patch of grass.
Right, patch of grass. You got to walk around. It's like just really in the way. And then they put the bus. You would feel it's been like, oh, we don't. What bus do we not like? We don't like easy rental. Put it over there, like inconvenient rental. But anyway, we got a great car. I couldn't believe the price. Chicago in
Right.
February. That's what I'll give Chicago props for. Chicago in February is cheap. Like nobody, because normally it's like frozen over ice and windy. It was freezing. It was freezing.
I've never experienced cold like that before.
You haven't?
Not as cold as it was in Chicago when I arrived. The day that I arrived, it was colder than I've ever experienced.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
then the second day of the event, or the Saturday of the event, the day one, that was beyond cold.
It was very cold. It was very cold.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doesn't get so cold here.
It was cold. Yeah. We were having like a great time the first 2 days. Like we went, where did we go? We had a Dodge Durango with the Hemi. It's like 2022, great truck, like beautiful leather, red leather interior. It's very comfortable, heated seats, everything we needed for like that type of environment. We had a great time. And went to of course we did Valentine's dinner at a very nice Italian restaurant.
Straight off the plane.
Right off the plane. Well, right after riding around looking. Yeah, because I think the original restaurant, we had a whole slew of Mexican restaurants we never even made it to.
None. We found one outside the theater, and that was amazing.
That was good. They had good enchiladas there. And
guacamole.
Yeah, you guys, they fucking ate guacamole as a meal, like 3 meals in a row, 2-3 meals in a row.
I could eat it every day of my life. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that was good stuff. So we were in Chicago, and then like there were some responsibilities at the event that probably took about like 8 to 9 hours out of each day after that, from about Friday on. And we still got to spend a lot of time together, but we didn't. And we were, obviously we were together every day, but we didn't end up doing all the stuff we wanted to do. I know we wanted to go see the Ghosts and Gangsters tour in Chicago. We went to downtown Chicago. We did the big Ferris wheel and got to see kind of like one of the great. I don't even know the Great Lake that's right there. I think it's Lake Michigan. That you see. That's in Cleveland. Yeah, it's beautiful. It looks like an ocean. It's like a lake. Ocean. It was really just a great experience. We went to the Big Bean, which is getting construction done on it at that time. Where else did we go on Valentine's Day? Of course, they got dispensaries in Chicago, and
they sure did.
Yes, and they have gummies, very low dosed wheat gummies, and overpriced oil cartridges and overpriced flour.
Very expensive, according to you. But I was like, I'm just enjoying a very light. I don't want anything strong. It was perfect though. Whatever it was that I got, it was perfect for me.
Yeah. You got what you needed, definitely. And then we kept a real nice bottle of wine in the room. Nice bottle of red wine, Clariot Francis Ford Coppola's line, Clariot, black label, on the black label with the gold lace on it. Beautiful wine. I shouldn't be drinking wine, but I was. And so yeah, I had the wine. We were doing the event. The event, the event was the event. It was interesting. My purpose of being there was to meet Cindy, though, and that was my goal, and that's what we did. And yeah, I'm getting I'm not getting emotional, but I'm getting like strong feelings now, just thinking about how I felt being around you, spending time with you, being able to hug and hold on you. Yeah, it was pretty special, pretty special.
Yeah. And then my morning coffee was very important to me. So we found my Whole Foods make great coffee. So we did.
They don't have Whole Foods in Australia. This is new to her.
No, they don't. So yeah, so Whole Foods every morning for my coffee. You had your turmeric latte, which you ended up enjoying.
Yes, life's blood.
Yeah, it was just nice. It was really, I mean, having that element of being able to have breakfast. The event did take up time, but as soon as it was over, it was being very mindful that we had to make the most of the time that we had together. So we got to spend, after the event, we went and did our thing. We didn't have to worry about being with other people. We enjoyed dinners. And then we were up late. Like, we spent a lot of time. You had your music. You bought your speaker, which was good.
I'm glad we had the speaker.
Yeah, we were up late. We were up heaps late listening to music and stuff. And was it top floor? It was top floor. It was
third floor. Yeah, I told you. I said, look, we gotta get this third floor. People were trying to see what room Cindy was in, and I was like, she was like,
no, I'll meet you in the lobby. It was like, no, but it was good. It was fun. Yeah, and then we had the gym. We did a gym, one little small tiny gym session. It was like treadmill running, and then we were done because we needed coffee.
It was a treadmill, right? It was a treadmill weight
treadmill run.
And yeah, treadmill weight bench and
it was a treadmill. I did a treadmill run, basically. That's all I did.
Yeah, I did nothing.
But
I did like weights for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then Lois ended up turning up, so yeah, we did that. And then but yeah, it was great. We're doing all the everyday things that we don't do because we spent 2 months prior just talking and getting to know each other over the phone. And it was just like I would find myself just like having those moments of pure presence of going, I can't believe I'm here and you're here. And it was just things were happening, like it was just all in the same time zone, which was great.
Yeah, I was glad you made the investment because it wasn't, it's not a cheap ticket to come out here.
No, it's not.
And yeah, and and then the opportunity, you coming out here and then getting the opportunity to do the interview with the author on stage and get that opportunity to speak, to be a speaker and to be on stage and doing interviews and then you were real natural, very natural at it. And I was like, just like a proud boyfriend. It's like I was there with my camera, like recording.
Fun. Yeah, it was such a surreal moment too, meeting the author, the actual author, Nikki, who wrote the book for George. It was just weird. There was like, I read this book and I had connected to it in Sydney, and then all of a sudden I was able to interview them, the author and the person who the book, was related to. So it was just, I was enjoying the moment, which is why it came so naturally. My normal default setting was normally like, I don't like being in front of a crowd of people or an audience talking, but then it just became me, Nikki, George, and Lois. I kind of zoned everything else out. I wasn't too aware of everyone else present, so it was really comfortable. And Clubhouse.
So what?
Clubhouse helped a lot with that too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, 100%. And that's some of the other stuff we're going to talk about in the future. Is just our growth, on that app, and then just kind of people we become, and then also just healing. Healing as people, and then coming. Because neither one of us are the people. The people we see right now, and then who we were probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 4 years ago. Different people. And the journey never stops. The growth never stops. The personal development, discovery. It never stops. The challenges, they never stop. And when you learn to find the gratitude and to accept the challenges as opportunities for you to discover and grow and expand more into what your highest purpose and what you're here to do, things become effortless, and the universe it conspires in your favor, and it's like Moses splitting the Red Sea in a way is made for you. So I felt like if any of it, if any ever there was a time that this was the time that I was prepared to be able to like meet this challenge of what me and you kind of came about, how we
Yeah.
came to be. After the Mexican restaurants, the Italian restaurants, the dispensaries, the Ferris wheels, the meeting at the airport, running around. I didn't want to. I was upset the day before that I wasn't going to see you. I didn't know the next time I was going to see
Yeah.
you.
That was the sad. So basically, as we end this, it's like, now we've got to go back. Now I've got to go back home.
She has to go back to Australia. Not 4 or 5 hour flight, like a 21-hour flight. Lose 2
After
days.
5 days. After 5 days of being with you, I'm like, I've now got to jump on a plane and head home.
Yeah.
What's going to happen now? I was like, oh no, what's going to happen
What's
now?
going to happen next? Yeah. So
That was-
So find out what happens next in the next episode.
Perfect time to finish. Look, 31 minutes. Yeah, that was sad. That was sad.
In the recording. And in the recording. Uh-oh.